The Straits of Mackinac is where Lake Michigan and Lake Huron meet. It's been a destination for travelers for thousands of years. As a kid, I visited here with my family, but as an adult, I mostly traveled over the Straits on the Mackinac Bridge on my way to camping destinations further north in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. However, lately, we've been using the Straits as a convenient place to camp at the beginning or end of forays into the UP. This got us interested again in the area, and we decided to plan both fall and spring camping trips here and try some different campgrounds on both sides of the Straits. In this video, we will show you this area, which is rich in both human and natural history, and tell you about the campgrounds we've stayed at. At the end of the video, we'll tell you which is our favorite camping spots and why. The name Mackinac is a shortened form of an Ojibway word meaning big turtle, which refers to Mackinac Island's turtle-like shape. The turtle is a sacred figure in the native culture representing Mother Earth and signifies good health and long life. Native American artifacts from as early as 900 AD have been unearthed in the Straits area, and in the 1600s, European missionaries and fur traders started to settle in this area. Today, the Straits are visually dominated by the Mackinac Bridge, which when opened in 1957 was the world's longest suspension bridge between anchorages, including the long lead-ups and the 3,800-foot long suspension bridge. The total length of the bridge from shore to shore is 5 miles. It's the third longest suspension span in the United States. In Mackinaw City at Mamma Mia's Pizzeria, there's a free museum dedicated to the construction of this bridge on the second floor of the restaurant. It was the first place we visited on our spring trip to Mackinaw City. The museum was created by the restaurant's founder, who was one of the ironworkers that built the bridge. The collection started with the purchase of a spinning wheel used to build the bridge's massive suspension cables and other items for the restaurant. Ironworkers from around the country soon began donating to the museum many tools and parts they used during the construction of the Mackinac Bridge. It's a fascinating museum to visit while you wait for a delicious pizza to be delivered to your table. Let's have a look at some of the things they've collected over the years. During our spring trip, we first crossed the bridge and camped on the north side at Straits State Park. It was early in the season, and most of the campgrounds on the south side of the bridge weren't open yet. Straits is a great state park with 181 acres right on the Straits of Mackinac, with about 275 campsites. I've stayed here often, and the footage in this part of the video is actually from several different stays. There are two campgrounds here, an upper and a lower campground. The lower is right on the Straits. but the sites on the water do not have electric hookups. Like most state parks, most of their campsites are electric only, but water and waste dumping is available at the sanitation stations, although they were closed when we were there in the early spring. We love this park. There are fantastic views of the Mackinac Bridge, a hiking trail through a cedar forest that connects the upper and lower campgrounds, modern bathrooms, some cabins, picnic areas, campgrounds, and a waterfront for campers to enjoy along Lake Huron. Here are some pictures and videos from our stays here at Straits State Park. The campground is east of I-75 on the north end of the bridge, but don't forget to check out the Father Marquette National Historic Site on the west side of I-75, off of US 2 and Boulevard Drive. This 17th century Jesuit missionary and explorer established Michigan's earliest European settlements at Sault Ste. Marie in 1668 and here at St. Ignace in 1671. He lived among the Great Lakes Indians from 1666 to his death in 1675. During these 9 years, Father Marquette mastered several native languages and joined Louis Joliet's explorations deep into North America, which explored the Mississippi River as far south as Arkansas. Marquette was afflicted with dysentery during one of his many missionary expeditions and died on the west shore of Lake Michigan near Ludington. His grave is located in downtown St. Ignace, near the Museum of Ojibway Culture on State Street. I'll tell you more about that later in the video. After you check out the Father Marquette Memorial, continue south on Boulevard Drive to Bridgeview Park. This park consists of an observation building, restrooms, picnic pavilions, and lots of paved parking. This is one of my favorite spots from which to photograph the bridge, and I like to also drive west along Boulevard Drive and view the Straits. Here are some pictures and video of the bridge and this area. West of the state park on US 2 is where the St. Ignace KOA is located. We stayed here in the fall. This KOA has about 150 RV sites, 10 camping cabins, 40 tent sites, and even 2 teepees. This KOA's tent sites, their RV full hookup sites, cabins, and teepees are all in the front of their campground. The main building with the camp store, laundry, bathrooms, and showers are also located in the front. In the back of the campground is another modern bathroom and shower house, as well as a very large open area where most of the electric and water-only RV sites are located. They've been renovating and investing in upgrading this campground over the last several years, so it could look a little different than when we last visited. Here are some pictures and videos from our stay in the fall at this KOA. Right down the road to the west is Deer Ranch, which is known as the oldest live white-tailed deer exhibit in North America. They have dozens of live native white-tailed deer, including some unique deer that are all white in large fenced enclosures of natural habitat. You can walk around the enclosures, photograph the deer, and even feed them. First opened in 1950, the Deer Ranch also has a gift shop with an emphasis on deer-related items, including one of the largest Minnetonka moccasin inventories in the UP. I admit I have mixed feelings about these sorts of places, but it was really cool seeing the deer up close and photographing them.
Look at that beautiful One, two, three, four. To think when you're around me, I bend over backwards just to get hurt again. But once I give up, you give in again. So I say thank you for the mixed feelings I feel around you. Thank you for the mixed reasons for how I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But there could be a mystery in their cloudy like the London sky. A little wish, a shooting star to look into your mind. But if I could, would I still want you like when I was blind? So I say thank you for the mixed feelings I feel around you. Thank you for the mixed reasons for how I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
If you head east on US 2, you'll end up in downtown St. Ignace, the second oldest city in Michigan. Established in 1671, it was a bustling hub of the 17th century's fur trade and later commercial fishing and lumber industries. The British took possession of the Straits region from the French in 1761 with the defeat of the French during the 7 Years' War. The geographic location has long been a blessing as well as a curse for St. Ignace. Because of its location, the town naturally became a vital part of the fur and maritime industries. This same position on the north side of the Straits made it difficult for road and railroad traffic. At first, barges were used to carry railroad cars across the Straits, which were replaced in 1888 by railroad ferries and car ferries starting in 1923. For almost 100 years, ferries carried people and vehicles across the Straits until the construction of the Mackinac Bridge was completed in 1957. St. Ignace enjoys a reputation as one of the oldest continuous settlements in the United States and has a more quaint, less touristy feel than Mackinaw City across the Straits. The city's French and Aboriginal roots are readily evident throughout the community. While there, be sure to visit the Museum of Ojibway Culture. The museum and its park is dedicated to the historical period of the Straits of Mackinac over 300 years ago when Ojibway, Huron, Ottawa, and French cultures met here. Inside the museum, which is a church that's over 180 years old, there are exhibits that depict Ojibway Indian culture and traditions and the French missionary contact period. The outdoor exhibits, including a longhouse, explain Huron life here in the Straits. The museum's park also contains the grave of Father Marquette. If you continue northeast of town, you will reach Castle Rock, one of the oldest lookout points near the city of St. Ignace. From there, Native Americans would watch for war parties in canoes approaching the Straits. The summit of Castle Rock offers a view for up to 20 miles, including Mackinac Island, Lake Huron, and St. Ignace areas. Castle Rock was opened for tourists in 1929. They also have a very unique gift shop that's worth a visit because it has an unusual birch bark ceiling and walls that were handcrafted by local Native Americans in the early 1950s. The rock has many steps that take you to the top and is accessed through the gift shop for a fee. Let's go climb the steps and have a look around. Across the bridge and on the southern shores of the Straits is the larger, more popular Mackinaw City. During the second half of the 1800s, the Mackinac area became a very popular summer tourist resort. According to AAA, Mackinaw City and the island is the most popular tourist spot in the state of Michigan today. It's an area with a plethora of fudge shops, t-shirt stores, restaurants, gift shops, and many hotels for visitors to both the city and the island. There's even a 3-story Starbucks with a zip line from the top floor. The northern portion of the city is preserved as a park area that contains Fort Michilimackinac, a lighthouse, and much of the city's shoreline. Fort Michilimackinac is a reconstruction of an 18th century French and later British fort and trading post. It was built on the northern tip of the Lower Peninsula around 1715 to basically keep the soldiers busy while protecting French interests in the important fur trade. The reconstructed fort is really interesting to tour, and archaeologists are still doing digs in the area. The only real skirmish that occurred here was after the British took over the fort. The Ojibway became dissatisfied with British policies, and on June 2nd, 1763, they staged a game outside the fort as a ruse to gain entrance. One of the braves threw a ball through the gate, and as they rushed and entered the fort, they then surprised and killed most of the British inhabitants and held the fort for a year before the British regained control again. The British eventually determined that this wooden fort on the mainland was too vulnerable, so in 1781 they built a limestone fort on Mackinac Island and moved many of Michilimackinacs buildings to the island by dismantling them and moving them across the water in summer and over the ice in winter during the next 2 years. Then what remained of the original wooden fort was burned. The limestone fort sits high on a bluff over the bay and is the centerpiece of Mackinac Island. After the Revolutionary War, the fort and Michigan became part of the United States, but the British recaptured the fort again in one of the first battles of the War of 1812, if you call it a battle. On the 18th of July, a mixed force of British regulars, Canadian voyageurs, and Native Americans surprised the Americans by placing cannons and soldiers on the high ground above the fort before the American defenders even knew that war had been declared between the United States and Britain. The Americans, knowing they couldn't win with the British above them, surrendered. They did return again in 1814 to try to retake the fort and the island, but were repelled by the British. The British then held the fort and the island until the end of the war. In 1875, the fort and surrounding federal property became Mackinac National Park, which was the second national park in the United States after Yellowstone. In 1895, the park was transferred to the state of Michigan, and in 1898, a unique local ordinance was passed that prohibited the use of any motor vehicles on the island, which remains in effect today. The only exceptions to this are city emergency vehicles, city service vehicles, and snowmobiles during the winter. Today, the most common means of travel is either by foot, bicycle, horse, or horse-drawn carriage. Mackinac Island is home to the Grand Hotel, built during the 19th century when the island started to be a popular summer resort. Boasting the world's longest porch, the Grand Hotel is well known and has housed many notable visitors, including 5 U.S. presidents, the inventor Thomas Edison, and the author Mark Twain. Today's visitors to the island arrive by ferry from St. Ignace or Mackinaw City. When we visit the island, one of the things we like to do is take a carriage tour, which we'll share with you. So sit back and enjoy our ride around the island.
And it's also where I love to go to pick up apples from Camp Hazel. There's over here to the right of us, you can see Mackinac. And if you look up on the hill towards the right, you can see Fort up there. Fort Mackinac was built by the British during the Revolutionary War in the 1700s, and it's one of the best preserved forts from its era in the entire Market Street. Well, the first building you can see on the street is over here to the right of us. This is the American Fur Company store. The American Fur Company store is also the Dr. William Beaumont Museum. And Dr. Beaumont was a very important man here on the secret garden. And inside of there, they plant tons of flowers. And it's really pretty. It's pretty cool. If you find yourself down here, I recommend checking it out. Also, up ahead of us, you can see the Grand Hotel. Out there, flowers 3 times a year. Also, coming up over here to the left of us, you see a really good view of Mackinac water.
There are lots of hotels and B&Bs on the island, but no camping. However, as mentioned earlier, there are several campgrounds on both sides of the straits where we have stayed. I already told you about where we stayed in St. Ignace, so let me tell you about where we stayed in Mackinaw City. Just south of downtown, Mackinaw City KOA has about 100 campsites, cabins, and a heated pool. There's also a half-mile trail on the north side of the campground that connects to the Northwestern Bike Trail, which goes north to downtown Mackinaw City, as well as about 30 miles to the south to the city of Petoskey. The whole north side of the campground is bordered by forest lands. The campground itself has nice mature trees, well-kept facilities, and an up-north feel. Here are some of the pictures of the campground from our stay here in the spring.
They say love is an open door, but if this door is just another gash, I'll close it off and walk another path. Ooh, oh, oh, and they say love could be a war, but if this war is just another truce, I'll raise the white flag to be with you. Oh, oh, so don't go taking my baby. Don't go taking my honeybee. I said don't go taking my baby. I said don't go. I said don't go. I know love comes with tons of our bond tight, so we'll push through them and love each other right. Oh, oh, and I know love comes with jealousy, but jealousy takes too much of me. I'd rather not share my destiny. Ooh, oh, oh, so don't go taking my baby. Don't go taking my honeybee. I said don't go taking my baby. I said don't go. I said don't go. Don't go taking my baby. Don't go taking my honeybee. I said don't go taking my baby. I said don't go. I said don't go. I said don't go.
5 minutes east of downtown and right on the straits sits the Mackinac Mill Creek Campground, which is one of northern Michigan's most popular and largest campgrounds. The Detroit News even named it as one of Michigan's top family-friendly campgrounds. They have more than 600 campsites, many cabins, a heated pool, camp store, sanitation station, free mini golf, 3 playgrounds, and even 2 basketball courts. Established in 1964, Mill Creek's creator's vision was to include pockets of natural areas and a park-like setting for their campground. This includes a spectacular mile of shoreline for all campers to enjoy on the Straits of Mackinac, with great views of the Mackinac Bridge, Mackinac Island, Mackinaw City, St. Ignace, Round Island, and Boyce Blank Island. We had a bridge view campsite, and it was really nice to be able to step out of the camper with a fresh cup of coffee and watch the sunrise. Here are some pictures of the campground from our stay there in the spring.
I'm scared of what the morning brings. I'm scared of what it means to me. Sunrise, oh, tell me how you can wake up the world. Sunrise, oh, tell me how you have the strength to rise. Help me believe in miracles, 'cause I need one. And I've tried to find God in an instant, and I've cried. Wanna find hope, but it's distant. Sunrise, oh, tell me how you can wake up the world. Sunrise, oh, tell me how you have the strength to rise. Help me believe in miracles, 'cause I need one. Sunrise, daylight, ooh, wake me, revive, breathe life, ooh. Help me believe in miracles, 'cause I need one. Help me believe in miracles, 'cause you are one.
So, which is our favorite campground to stay at in the Straits of Mackinac? It's really hard to say because they're all great. If we can get a site in the lower campground of the Straits State Park and don't need a sewer hookup or Wi-Fi, then that's our preferred campsite. I love the more natural feel of the campground and the great view of the bridge from the park. Even the upper campground is only a short hike through a cedar forest to the shoreline. I also prefer the less busy and touristy St. Ignace over Mackinaw City, if it's a camping trip focused on hiking and the outdoors. If the state park is booked, the St. Ignace KOA would be our second choice on the north side of the Straits. But if we're planning to do more eating out and shopping, or doing a workcation and need Wi-Fi, then we would stay on the south side of the Straits, either at the Mackinac KOA or the larger Mill Creek, which are both good options in the northern Lower Peninsula. If we can get a site close to the shoreline at Mill Creek and it isn't a busy holiday weekend, then we'd probably stay there because we love being on the Straits. It offers me the most convenient photo opportunities on the south shore of the Straits. Nearby, Wilderness State Park is also an option, but I'll leave that for another video. Thank you for watching our video about the Straits of Mackinac, and please subscribe to our channel. Happy wandering.